Good evening. My name is Joshua Rubenstein. I'm a Public Information Officer for CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 4. Thank you for joining us this evening for tonight's Fawn Fire press conference and virtual meeting. We are broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube from the Shasta District Fairgrounds in Anderson, California. This evening you will be hearing from various subject matter experts providing information on weather, fire behavior, operations, and recent evacuation updates. If you have any questions for our speakers, please submit them in the comments section at the bottom of the page. We will initially answer questions from our Facebook and YouTube viewers, and then followed by those in attendance here in this room. CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 4 and all our cooperating agencies working on this incident are your fire department. We may come from different parts of the state or farther, but we are here to serve you. We are committed to doing the best job humanly possible. With that, communication is a two-way street. It is our goal to not only provide you accurate, up-to-date information regarding the fire and its impacts on your community, but to answer your questions to the best of our ability. This meeting is not for us, it is for you. I personally read the questions from last night's community meeting and want to ensure that they are going to be answered. I have them here with me and will ensure that they are provided to the proper individual when that time comes this evening. Thank you for submitting those questions. The Fawn Fire is currently at 8,559 acres with 45% containment. There are currently 2,048 personnel assigned to the incident, which include 211 fire engines, 52 hand crews, 46 dozers, 11 helicopters. Fixed-wing aircraft fly based upon needs and weather conditions. I'd like to report our damage inspection numbers. Damaged residential structures, 17. Destroyed residential structures, 70. Damaged commercial structures, 0. Destroyed commercial structures, 0. And with that, I would like to take a moment and explain what damage inspection is. 3 teams of 2 start in the most concentrated area of the fire, and they began working yesterday. They collect data on damaged, destroyed, and non-damaged property. It is then entered into the Iziri data collection app along with a photo of each property. Criteria established by FEMA and the Office of Emergency Services are adhered to for proper reporting. We are currently working on an app for damage inspection specifically for this incident. And once established, you'll be able to view a specific property, and we hope to have those up and running soon. Damage inspection teams do not get in the way of fire suppression operations, nor do they inspect property near active firefighting, and it is a process. It takes time. I would now like to introduce our first speaker, our Operations Section Chief.
Good evening. Shane Lauderdale, Operations Section Chief with CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 4. I have very good news to provide tonight, and I'll start in the area of Bear Mountain Road and working down to Mariners Point. Last night, firefighters started at approximately 8 p.m. to fire in the last remaining line on this side of the fire. By 2:30, they had completed that firing operation and had burned from Bear Mountain Road to Mariners Point. That effectively locked in the spread of the fire to the east. And so today, they focused on mopping that up and containing any areas that were of concern with the weather that we have expected in the next 2 days. The other focus of the mission last night was to finish the firing operation from Gray Rocks to the high water line just east of I-5. That too was completed, has held throughout the day, and we're happy to tell you that we have a line established around the entire incident as of last night. Today, as I said, they focused on containing where we did the firing operation. Number 1 part of the mission. Number 2 part of their mission today was doing extensive mop-up throughout the entire fire perimeter so that we can prepare the entire area for repopulation. Thank you.
All right, good evening, Incident Meteorologist Ryan Walbrin. So just a quick update on the weather. Obviously, we had favorable conditions out there today for the firefighting operations. Clear skies. You may have noticed temperatures a little bit cooler in the lower 80s or so, and the humidity's in that 20 to 25% range with the general southwest wind flow. We do expect a cold front to move into the area tomorrow, so that brings a little mix of good and bad news, but it also provides a good opportunity to test the fire lines. What that means is the southwesterly winds will increase through the day, and as we get into roughly that 2 to 3 o'clock window tomorrow afternoon through about sunset, that's when the main front is going to approach. I do think people will see some rain showers across the Reading area, really not enough to what we call is wet the fuels, somewhere around 1/10 of an inch of rain, so some portions of the fire could see a little bit of light rain, others not, but in general probably not enough to really impact the fire as a total. Nonetheless, as that front moves through, we expect the winds to switch direction to a west-northwest direction. So this is just a change in the weather that again, it provides somewhat of an opportunity to see how the lines will hold up during this wind test. The good news is behind that front, humidity values will go up dramatically Monday night into Tuesday morning, so we expect full humidity recovery. And then temperatures will be quite cool by Tuesday morning in the mid-40s or so. I do want to mention then behind that front, it'll be the coolest day so far this fall, only highs around 70 degrees or so on Tuesday. And then the next thing we'll be looking out for is a north wind event coming in Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So the weather remains changeable. That's what we're kind of watching out for. But in the same breath, it'll provide good opportunities to test those containment lines over the coming days. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Pangburn, and I serve as the Fire Behavior Analyst for CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 4. Fire behavior is a component of fuels, weather, and topography. You just heard about the weather and the frontal system that will be passing through the area, that it's going to bring some wind shifts as well as some cooler temperatures and higher humidity. The higher humidity and cooler temperatures are definitely in our favor, while the wind is certainly not. Any uptick in wind has the potential to threaten lines. The fuels are absolutely critical and still available for burning in the general area. However, I want to emphasize what you heard from Chief Lauderdale from operations. The firefighters have done an extraordinary job helping to put containment line in place, and we do not anticipate any fire spread occurring from its current containment lines. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Josh Allen. I'm a sergeant with the California Highway Patrol, and I'm assigned as a law enforcement liaison officer with CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 4. Tonight I'm going to speak to you a little bit about the evacuation warnings and orders in place for this particular fire. The evacuation order in the Fawndale area, just east of I-5, has been reduced to an evacuation warning. The traffic control point in that area, Fawndale, just east of Highway 5, has been removed. There are currently 4 remaining traffic control points. Those traffic control points are Dry Creek Road at Squaw Grass Trail, Old Oregon Trail at La Crescenta, Old Oregon Trail at Holiday Lane, and Union School Road at Phaedra Lane. For more information on the evacuation warnings and orders, you can go to www.zonehaven.com. Have a good night.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Scott Korn. I'm Deputy Incident Commander for CAL FIRE Team 4. As you've been briefed by the operations, the crews have made good success on this fire, working tirelessly for 24 hours a day since its start. We can officially declare the forward spread of this fire stopped. However, you must remain vigilant, and so must the crews still on this fire. There's still a lot of work to be done, a lot of hazards to be mitigated. With saying that, we are working tirelessly to get you folks back into your residences, back to your homes, and back to a sense of normalcy. That will be our shift and focus in our effort in the next coming days. As of today, there's been a decrease of 6,726 homes threatened. That shows you the tireless work that our crews have put back in, and we'll work with the local entities, cooperators, and utilities in the next several days to restore the infrastructure and get you back to your homes. Thank you.
Many of the questions tonight were answered during the presentation from our speakers. We will now take a few moments to answer additional questions that have come in, as well as those from last night.
So we have some questions from social media. The first one is asking for an update on Dry Creek Road. Dry Creek Road continues to be in the area that is adjacent to our fire lines. And so as I talked about, we are working very, very hard I'll try to show this to you on the map. Dry Creek Road is in this area, and we're working very hard to get that all mopped up and prepared for this wind event. Although fire behavior is confident that what we are looking at is very good containment lines that will hold the fire, we need to get through this wind event before we are confident that we do have lines that are going to hold. So that's the answer about the update on Dry Creek. The second question is very close to the same place. It's a question about the current risk status of the Silverthorne tract. The Silverthorne tract also is in the same condition. It's just on the other side of the containment lines that were burned in last night. And so at this point, we have a lot of work to do to mop up all those heavy fuels and other things that are threatening the line before we will be able to look at reopening that track.
There are a couple online questions that I'll try to address here. One of these questions is, when will Union School Road be open? Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to answer that question. That's going to be based on the fire behavior and when operations tells us it is safe to get back in there and open up that road. Another question is, what is the criteria for lifting an evacuation order? The easiest answer to that question is to be when there's no imminent threat to the public, and when, again, that's a ever-changing answer with fire officials. They're constantly reevaluating the fire lines, and where we can get people back into their homes, and the bottom line of that is when it's absolutely safe for people to do so. Another question is, are there any reports of criminal activity in the evacuation areas? The answer to that question is yes. There have been multiple arrests within the evacuation zones, the mandatory evacuation zones. I cannot give you an exact number on how many arrests were made, but there have been multiple arrests made. Thank you.
We've received multiple questions about the damage inspection and when that information will become available. Those teams are out there working tirelessly collecting that information, and we hope to have a live app or a link that you can access within the next 12 to 16 hours. Our PIO, our information office, will submit that in conjunction with the Shasta County Sheriffs. And on that app, you'll be able to click on that and see if your residence is in that area and if it's been inspected. However, with the caveat that that inspection is continuing to proceed and go on. So you will need to look at that app frequently until there is a designated mark on your property or your structure telling you and delineating what the status of that structure is. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Chris Harvey. I'm one of the public information officers attached to the incident. I've been monitoring all of your Facebook comments tonight, and I want to address the large number of questions regarding repopulation. It's a common question at this time of the incident when residents no longer see smoke or fire in their neighborhood. They want to know why they can't go back to their homes if there's no fire near their homes. And I just want to answer everybody's questions tonight with a general statement that repopulation has a lot more pieces to it than just no more smoke and fire. The utility companies, the tree companies with downed trees across the road, there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be cleared up and repaired and then re-energized by the power companies before they're going to allow folks to come back home again. So I hope that answers the very large number of questions regarding why you still can't go home even if there's no smoke or fire in your neighborhood. Thank you.
We'd like to thank all of the presenters for their information and, more importantly, you for taking the time to view our community meeting and to ask those questions. Immediately following this presentation, we will have a video that will come up that will talk about damage inspection and how that program works. If you would like to find the evacuation maps for Shasta County, you may find those listed on the CAL FIRE and Sheriff websites. Incident updates will be provided at 7 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock in the evening. We will continue to host our Facebook and YouTube press conference and virtual community meeting incident updates every evening at 6 o'clock. Meeting incident update That live stream may be found on the CAL FIRE Shasta Trinity Facebook and YouTube sites. You may also go to the CAL FIRE homepage at www.fire.ca.gov. Please continue to follow social media platforms for the latest fire information. Finally, at the end of this presentation, in addition to that DEMS video, we will have for you on screen QR codes which will link you to our live presentations and email updates. We sincerely appreciate you joining us this evening. It is a true privilege to serve you. Please be safe.
These fast-moving wildfires are really nothing like we've ever seen. So many more homes are being destroyed by them. It's important that we let residents know as quickly as possible the status of their home.
Today what we're doing is we're assessing the damage post-fire. We're assessing each and every structure for percentage of damage in the overall area for the vast scope of the damage within that area. My role is to guide and direct the entire team, as well as set up all the technology. The technology that we're utilizing is an application called the Collector app. We utilize tablets or we use cell phones that can collect that data. Once the data is collected by the field collectors, when we have so many teams working out on an incident, what we do is we order additional collectors to come into the incident to what we call the CQI process, where we're doing quality control and really scrubbing that data. Sometimes we bring a team in that is housed out of Sacramento and they kind of run all the fires because we run out of collectors.
What you see in here is what we call our quality control of the data. Our personnel ensure that all the data points that are located on the map are accurate. The picture is good quality and the data is accurate. If they find a discrepancy in the data, then they flag that record, and the inspectors out on the incident, wherever that is throughout the state, can see that there is a discrepancy with a record.
Symbology will drop on the map that the collectors in the field can see. They can come back then and look at that data and fix it while they're in the field.
Depending on connectivity, that data can either be uploaded immediately into our central database, or if we're working in an offline environment, because of the location, that data is then updated later on in the day into the electronic database. We try to get our DINS teams out to the incident as soon as the areas that the inspectors go into are safe for them to work. and start the data collection process, because it is a time-consuming process, especially with the size of some of the fires that we've had recently.
We want to get that information out as quickly as possible so that the resident knows and doesn't have to wait for a long period of time. They know whether their house is there, whether their house is damaged or destroyed. It's also very important because it goes to the county EOCs, Emergency Operations Centers. We collect data that OES and FEMA really need to be able to provide assistance to the residents and to that county because of the impact.
We understand the situation that evacuees are in, of wanting to know the status of their structure as soon as they can. The best way to locate the map for damage is to search by the fire name and then structure status map. If one has been released, it should pop up and take you right to the map.
In the last couple of years, we've collected a significant amount of data with just the sheer number of structures that have been damaged and destroyed on wildfires across California. These fast-moving wildfires that we've been experiencing over the last several years are really nothing like we've ever seen, and that's why so many more homes and so many more structures are being destroyed by them. All that data we're now able to really analyze and determine the effectiveness of some of our building codes. And in even just the last couple of years, we've been able to make some modifications to our building codes to ensure that our standards, our construction material requirements are really the most stringent in the nation, to ensure that we do our best to reduce the number of structures destroyed on wildfires.